to Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy. Today we're going to be talking about an Irish whiskey. This one's called Clontarf 1014 Irish Whiskey Classic Blend. Triple distilled like every great Irish whiskey is. It is gently aged in bourbon barrels, and you could definitely taste that. Now, there's a lot of wording going on down here about the history. And at the very bottom, you're going to see bourbon barrels and blended to, so it's triple distilled, aged in bourbon barrels. It is a 40%. Nothing on the back. Well, there is the legal mumbo jumbo, website, which, you get what you get. But not sure what to make of this. Every trail I've tried to track down to get good information off this didn't end up very well. It's got a metal twist cap, which no longer truly offends Mr. Randy. Starting to move away from cork. Natural cork. Synthetic cork, absolutely fine. The natural cork, if you cheap out on the cork, you're gonna lose it. As simple as that. So, as we did mention, this is done, finished, aged, aged, not finished, aged in ex-bourbon barrels. I had something scratched down on my notes here. I don't recall what that was, but Mr. Randy paid just under $23 out the door. And as you can see, it does have, the coloring is definitely influenced by the aged in the bourbon barrels. So let's get a hold of Mr. Randy's handy dandy whiskey color scale and see if we can't get a color on it. It looks to me to be very much close to a deep brown. So we're going to go ahead with the deep brown. Now let's get into the nose. The nose is very much, you can definitely pull a lot of the characters from those ex-bourbon barrels. The vanilla, the oak, the sweet, the honey. The red fruit I think is pretty much probably going to be the Irish whiskey and not the actual bourbon barrels. But it is a classic blend, as it does state. So it doesn't really give you a whole lot of information on what's blended here, but on the nose, it's a very nice nose. It is slightly reminiscent of a bourbon because of those bourbon barrels. Let's get it on the palate. So the palate is a little different than the nose. You are getting some light sweetness. The oak, vanilla, sure. Well, the fruit, but it's a little bit of a slight bit of a twinge. So against the nose. The nose is a little bit more lighter, a little more delicate. The palate gets a little bit deeper. Let's go ahead and get a finish on this. Sorry, there was a little too much in that glass. The finish is definitely, it seems to be in line. As the nose is nice, the palate picks up a little bit more. The finish comes on just a little bit notch up more than that. I wouldn't necessarily say I wouldn't say it steps up in like quality, or I wouldn't say it gets better. I would say it definitely changes. I think it's more of an evolution. The nose evolves better than the palate. The palate evolves better than the nose. The finish evolves better than the palate. Overall, I think this is a relatively decent blended Irish whiskey. My score, I'm going to give it a weak 3 out of 5. My fair price would definitely be putting this under $20, but up to 20. So anything 20 and low, I think would be more than acceptable for this. If you really do like your Irish whiskeys to be aged in bourbon barrels or ex-bourbon barrels, I think this would be pretty acceptable for you. Would I buy this again? Not likely. There's not a lot of anything interesting in this bottle to really bring me back to it. I only bought this on the fly because I was in the shop. They didn't have what I went there for, but I didn't want to leave empty-handed, so I got this. Let us know what you think about this. Have you heard this? Have you tried it? Let us know in the comments, and as always, thanks for stopping by here at Mr. Randy's Wine and Spirits. I am Mr. Randy. Have a good one.